From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow, of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the #1 resource for independent music in Northeast Texas. It's the ETX Rock Show, episode number 312. And man, every single week that I get to do this show, I'm like a kid in a candy store for several reasons. One of which is I get to listen to amazing music almost every week here in the living room. But another reason is I have the coolest frickin' friends on the planet, guys. I really do. We have Fiddlin' Dave Varnado here in the ETX Rocks living room. The fiddle player of the year of it seems like every frickin' organization there is out there. You just won most awarded fiddle player in the United States for 2018. Wow, that's gonna be humbling.
I'm still trying to pinch myself up to see if it's real. I really didn't. Man, once again, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming up. It's an absolute honor for us.
U.S. Congressman Louis Gohmert's his office in Washington, D.C. is kind of they heard about me being the most awarded fiddle player in the United States, and next thing you know, I'm invited to his office over in Tyler, Texas. He flew in from Washington, D.C. to come meet me and presented me an award. And 2018 was when I really got, I guess, marked as the most awarded fiddle player, because I got 14 awards in just less than a year and a half.
That's crazy.
And I'm proud to say yesterday, which was April the 2nd, I went over to the Texas State Capitol, and Texas State Representative and the House of Representatives put down in the history books and gave me a nice reward for also being from Texas and the most awarded fiddle player in the United States.
And man, you guys know out there, if you're watching the show, if you're listening in every week, you got to know by now, if I've got David Varnado here in my house, he's going to play us some music. So tell us about Faded Love. Obviously, it's a very well-known favorite. What does the song mean to you?
Everything. I used to be a contest fiddle player when I was a kid, and that's usually one of the ones I'd always pull out. You always pull a breakdown, which would be a fast song, and a tune of your choice, and that Faded Love was always one of my favorites, just because it's in totally relations to Bob Wills.
Yeah.
Who is, and I want to say, he's still the king of the Cajun fiddle, king of the country fiddle player, which he did play some Cajun music, but he's still the king.
Yeah, I agree.
King of all fiddle players.
And we're excited to show you some David Varnado here on the show, man. I'm super stoked to have him here. It's Faded Love, y'all. Check it out. So we are back once again. It's episode 312. I have a lot of questions for David. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
Because, man, you know, we really try to get behind the music here on the show. Now, they say that legends come from humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call that BS with David because you come from legends. Your dad was you said the king of Cajun fiddle. You misspoke for Bob Wills, but your dad,
my dad was
the king of the Cajun fiddle.
He was a good fiddle player.
And then Johnny Gimbel and Joel Saunier.
Yes, sir.
These are your mentors and teachers.
Right.
So he came from legendary beginnings, not humble beginnings. What was this like for you growing up among royalty like that?
I don't know if I soaked it all in till I was kind of able to figure things out. When I reached about 12 years old, I started learning how to play. Let me back up a minute. I started learning how to play when I was 4.
Wow.
From my dad.
Okay.
And there was a few little things. When you're a kid, you can't have an attention span all the time. So he brought me over to a classical trainer. And 6 months into it, he came back and told my mom and dad, he's never going to make a violinist. He'll never make a fiddle player.
Wow.
And then a few months later after that, my dad, at 5 years old at this time, he was sitting on the edge of his bed playing his fiddle. And I came up on the other side of the bed and looked down at his fingers from over here and asked him to show me how to play a song. And my first song was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And the next one was the Cajun National Anthem, Jolie Blonde.
Wow.
And ever since then, I started wanting to learn how to play. And I've had a fiddle in my hand since, basically, I'd say serious about it at the age of 5. But I didn't really realize all of the royalty that was around me till I was about 12 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, you read his press pack, and I mean, it's like a who's who. I mean, it's crazy who you've met, who you've played with, but just to read about your beginnings with Johnny Gimbel, who, if you're from the state of Texas and you don't know who Johnny Gimbel is, then by God, you might want to read up, because Johnny Gimbel of the Gimbel family, the legendary Gimbel family, took you under his wing at, 12, 14 years old?
Right at around 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's Joel Saunier. And I mean, we're talking the difference between Texas and Louisiana here. So you're learning completely different styles at a young age. What did that set you up for as a musician?
Well, I'll tell you what it set me up for. Learning the traditional Cajun music from the great Rufus Thibodeau, and then learning Texas swing, Western swing, country fiddle player, playing from Johnny Gimbel. I'll tell you what it set me, and it may be funny, but learning these two types of music, which would be Cajun and country, and learning from those two guys that were the best, it actually opened my doors up. For once I did that, I want to kind of go a different direction here, because you wouldn't think it. When I reached the age of 17, 18 years old, it led out to me to want to not just be stereotyped as a fiddle player.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I'm sitting there thinking, if I can go and learn Cajun and country, which is, like you said,
night and day,
two different genres of music.
Right.
I wonder if David could start learning how to play Motley Crue lead guitar on his fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
So Mick Mars, I started learning his licks on my fiddle.
That's crazy.
And then I've
heard some of your R&B stuff too.
Yeah. And then I started thinking, well, I wonder if I could learn jump and different things from Eddie Van Halen. What would it sound like with the fiddle? Then I went on thinking, what about Richie Sambora? I wonder if I could learn some of his licks. Now, I'll tell you, learning those two types, Cajun and country, broadened my horizons out to try to learn different. I never knew this day and time it would have set me up, but it actually got me the job working for Chris LeDoux.
Yeah.
Because I played a rock fiddle.
Wow.
And his stuff wasn't, traditional country.
No.
It was a rock and edge country.
Yeah, yep.
And it helped. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I went on it. What it taught me was that I could think outside the box.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, Boston, I'm not the greatest fiddle player in this world. I'm never gonna be. But the great Johnny Gimble always told me, if you wake up today thinking you're the best, somebody's gonna pass you up. If you wake up thinking you've got this instrument mastered, somebody's going to pass you up. There's
I completely agree with that.
Something's always to be learned on.
Yeah, absolutely. Never close your walls.
I hope that answers what you asked me.
The reason why I wanted to ask you that is because reading your press pack, three artists that you worked extensively with is Johnny Paycheck, Loretta Lynn, Chris LeDoux, and again, you could not ask for three different artists if they were all different genres of music. I mean, they're all country, but you could not be more different within that genre between those three artists.
Right.
So I was curious if it was your versatility at a young age, learning that from different, sides of the border, so to speak, Texas, Louisiana, set you up to be able to have success with different artists like that as an adult.
I think it's helped me.
Yeah.
I think it's helped me get the job with them. I think there's not a lot of, if I feel a song doesn't fit for me, I'm going to tell you. I just got lucky enough that what fell into my lap helped me with what I was doing for the different styles of music.
Right.
Helped me get the job with them. And when you're going in and you're playing for Loretta Lynn, you got to think Buddy Spiker, Johnny Gimble. You're going in playing for Joel Sonnier, you got to think Rufus Thibodeau, Dennis McGee. I've always been able to be mindset, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to be those people,
right?
But I was trying to go into that mode, and that's what has actually helped me get through the gig and keep the gig.
How much does originality as a fiddle player help you in getting and keeping gigs?
Has everything to do with it. Thinking outside the box,
right.
Being original as you can. A lot of the Nashville artists, the older artists, which I've worked with most of the time, for instance, Paycheck, Loretta, Chris wanted pretty much everything like what his music was recorded, and to add a little bit of my flavor. But Loretta and Johnny Paycheck, they both. I don't really care who played on that. Stick to the signature licks and play David, okay?
Nice.
So the originality helped me.
Yeah.
Be that.
Right.
And I think that's what's helped set the stage for me to where the notoriety that I've gotten is being. And I'm really kind of glad you said this. I went in and trying to play as close as I could to a Cajun fiddle player, and playing like Rufus Thibodeau.
Right.
And I tried to go in and play as close as I could and trying to sound just like Johnny Gimble. And again, I'm never going to be a Johnny Gimble, ever. There's one Johnny Gimble. But when I did that, trying to copy those licks, lick for lick, and Gimble jumped on me and said, "You're going to have to stop playing like me."
Yeah.
Because you're never going to get anywhere.
Right.
You're going to be known as a good fiddle player. But I got playing my fiddle the way Johnny Gimble plays and got my notoriety being Johnny Gimble. You're going to have to start doing things on your own. And like what you were saying, kind of thinking outside the box, my own style, that's maybe what's helped me. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious,
Yeah.
You're, what did you say, 14 awards last year?
Yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
a year and a half.
You don't get that by being a karaoke fiddle player, man.
I guess not. I've been blessed, and I thank all the supporters and the people that's, you've been with me through one of the East Texas Awards. I think I was telling Boston earlier, I got a phone call from the president of that deal, that music award, telling me that I was nominated. all this stuff fell into my lap just all of a sudden in the last 3 years. I wasn't asking for it, but I definitely appreciate it, and I'm definitely glad that it happened. And the big joke around town is, man, you're going to have to build onto your house, man.
Yeah, you're going to need like a storage shed or something.
Something.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful that the good Lord has blessed me to giving me this talent, and able to share it with the community and the world.
Now, as a phenomenal player, you have extensive experience with performing live. You have extensive experience with recording in a studio. What do you like most?
I'll be honest with you. I like both.
Okay.
I like the microphone. Played on a whole bunch of recordings throughout my whole career. I'm a people person, and I work well in the studio. I'm not putting that down because I really do like studio work. It's one of my favorites. But one of my bigger favorites is to see a pleasing crowd.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I like to be one-on-one. I like to entertain, and I like to be along with an entertainer. And I know my place when it's time to back up an artist, back there, play your parts, unless you're called out front, put on a smile, and do it upright. But it's pretty much half and half. I like being creative in the recording studio, but maybe a little bit after a while, you kind of get tired of playing to a microphone. You need a different view.
Yeah.
And I do like playing live too as well.
All right. So now, one thing I do want to talk about is, we just heard you play live here on the show.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, it sounds different than anything I've heard before. You've invented something called the harmonizer. Tell us. Okay, two-part question. How did you come up with the idea, and why do you use it?
I came up with the idea from another source of a box that was put together, and I came out when I was in high school. I came out to be pretty good with electronics, and I studied a little bit of it, and I am a freak for twin fiddles. And there was a machine that was already out that I completely gutted it completely out, and rebuilt it myself. And I've kept this a secret for, I finished it in 1989. Me and Rufus Thibodeau pretty much put it together, and I've advanced it since he's passed away. I love twin fiddles, and as a kid, I would always pull things electronically apart to see how they're made.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of got to know electronics and cassette players and such. So that's how I came up with looking at other people's ideas and built this thing myself. And the machine it can run up to 2 fiddles, up to a 12-piece orchestra.
Wow.
And it goes up to 3-part harmony, 4-part harmony, and I can run it in 2nd, 3rds, 4ths, and 5ths, and 7th parts, and the whole bit. And I've kept this thing a secret for well over 20-something years.
Yeah. Breaking it free here on the show today.
Yeah, and a lot of people would come up to me, and it's in this box here. And hey, how are you getting that doubler sound? That thing sounds really real. Well, it is real.
Yeah.
I created a lot of it in the recording studio with putting parts in and working with different engineers and laying parts down and putting them back into the machine.
So is it a harmonizer or a loop?
It's a harmonizer.
Okay.
There's no loop. It's a harmonizer. Because they're all individual tracks, all individual parts. And it's recorded fiddles. That's what makes it different. A lot of these other harmonizers, I'm not trying to put down anybody else's. I think they're all great. Every harmonizer I've heard is great. But there's one problem. They sound Chinese, which doesn't sound real. And there is a tracking on this thing most of them that are out now, the harmonizers, they're about a millisecond off. So if you get on, what I'm saying is, if you get on the tracking on this thing, most of it will be delayed and behind. Mm-hmm. Mine sticks with you the whole note. It's true completely all the way through.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's true as can be. Now, that's how I work better. If I've worked with twin fiddles or three fiddles or four fiddles, I would rather play somewhere of the second harmony on back. The first part I get bored with, and I just like harmony. I know that's why I've invented it, because I know what the harmony parts that I liked hearing. Another thing is, if this is a fretless instrument, it's just a piece of wood, mm-hmm. and if you're not perfectly in tune on your intonation, this machine's not for you.
Yeah. Everything will be out of whack.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say something to you. I kind of let the cat out of the bag a year or so ago about this thing, and I've had several musicians come up live wanting to hear it. How can I get one? Well, I've had a few people get in contact with me, and some major companies, and I've made some offers of wanting to maybe thinking about maybe throwing a number out there for sale.
You should.
Well, I have, and the bad thing about it is, all these companies want something for nothing. Yep. I can't give away 20-something years of my life that I've built for nothing. Mm-hmm. And you know what's going to happen is, I've got fiddle players that are begging for this thing, but I can't get the right distributor to see about it.
Wow.
So I'm going to end it with that. Anyway, we'll move on to something else.
We struck a nerve.
Yeah, man. Hey, gummit.
Well, I think it's cool.
Thank you.
And I'm super blessed that you shared it with us here today on the show.
Definitely.
But we are talking with the one and only David Varnado here on the ETX Rock Show. It's episode 312. And guys, we're going to be right back with some more music from David right after this message.
Hey, this is Erin Enderlin. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS show.
All right, we are back once again. It's episode 312 already. We are smack dab in the middle of season 4. And I met David for the first time at the 2018 ETX Music Awards. I knew who David was way before we met. I'm a huge country music fan. And I don't just listen to the artist. I actually look at the albums and see who played. And I've always seen your name on so many damn CD jackets.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always seen your name throughout my history with country music. So when we became friends on Facebook, probably a little over a year ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm friends with David Varnado. This is super cool.
Just me.
Then when you were there in Gilmer, I looked at my fiance, a.k.a. producer, and I was like, I think that's David Varnado over there. She's like, you should go say hi. I was like, are you David Varnado? Yeah. And he was just, you guys, you got to understand, he's from Southeast Texas. Is it Nederland?
Nederland, yeah.
Nederland?
It looks like Nederland.
It's down by Beaumont.
Yeah.
And I'm in Northeast Texas. Now, if you're from outside the state of Texas, that's basically like 3 countries.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? 3 European countries. No joke. So he didn't know anybody there, so he's kind of sitting off to the side with a friend of his. And I was like, I'm gonna go for it. And sure enough, it was David. And I think you were super impressed that someone there knew who you were.
Yeah, it was. I was, hey, I got a friend here.
Yeah.
Out of 400, 500 people, I got a friend.
And we hit it off. We really did. And I was like, man, I got to have you on our show.
Yeah.
And this was probably a good 8 months ago. And
Easy.
I'm super stoked you're finally here.
Glad to be here.
Guys, David is, without a doubt, one of music's greatest fiddle players in the history of music. He won't tell you that. I will. Look it up. This man has done some unbelievable stuff within music. I won't tell you some of the stuff. Research it. 14 awards in 2018 alone. Little known stat that I've got to put out there. 2001 nominee, Academy of Country Music. 2017 nominee, Academy of Country Music. 17 years in between. That's longevity.
Yeah.
So congratulations on all that, David. It's well deserved. What would your dad think, man?
Oh man, he'd be proud.
Yeah.
He really would. It's hard to soak all of it in.
Yeah.
You know, my mom and dad always taught me. My dad always taught me. You know, just don't brag on yourself. You know, one thing that's more uglier is to see somebody telling somebody how great they are. Let your bragging be in the music, and if you're good, they'll hear you.
Yeah.
They'll hear how good you are.
Very cool. And guys, David is going to play us another song right now. We're going to bring it back to Texas, y'all. If you're a Texas music fan, you're going to hear one of Johnny Bush's biggest hits. Tell us about this song, David.
One of my favorite numbers. I'm a big Johnny Bush fan.
So am I.
Yeah, on the Texas swing stuff that he does, or traditional country stuff he does. Definitely one of my favorites, and it's one of the songs that I use. This has not 2 fiddles on it, but 3 fiddles on it. Check it out.
Yeah, it's I'll Be There. Y'all check it out. It's David Varnado. All right, so we are back once again, episode 312. Man, I appreciate you spending some time with us here today.
Thank you for asking me.
If folks want to know more about you, where can they follow along with your social media, stuff like that?
Facebook is about the best way they can find me at. David Varnado. It's V as in Victor, Arnado. First name's David.
Is this a personal Facebook? Do
Yeah.
you have a music page as well?
No, I don't have. I haven't done anything like that. I kind of want to keep it simple. You know, I've got a lot of people asking me to do that, but if things branch out any bigger than what they are, I'm probably going to have to, I guess.
I'm thinking you're probably going to have to do something, a website or something.
I may have to get you to help me with that.
I might could do that.
Maybe somebody could build me a good website.
I might. I'll put some feelers out for you.
I might need. You know, another thing people are telling me to do. You know, you might want to think about getting a Wikipedia.
Yeah,
A lot of people are telling me to do that too. So,
that's a good idea, actually.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, keep in mind, all this notoriety stuff just kind of hit me in the last 3 years, so I'm trying to soak it all in. But I thank the good Lord above for giving me the talent to be able to share with the music and the world. And one last quote I want to say about Johnny Paycheck. Him and I were very close, and I kind of run my fiddle playing and my fiddle business pretty much like this. He always told me, "You're going to do fine in this business, son. But the best thing I can tell you to do is run as fast and as hard as you can. That way when you hit a ditch, you have enough momentum to pull yourself out."
I like it. Good old Johnny Paycheck.
From the great songwriter.
Yeah, he was. Oh, my God. Very underrated songwriter.
Very underrated
Guys,
songwriter.
again, Johnny Paycheck. If you're into songwriting, there's some gems.
He's written so many. He used to work for, write for Tree Publishing in Nashville, and there's songs sitting in the vault there that nobody's ever heard.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to hear him someday.
I hope so.
Because, man, that guy was a genius.
Yeah, he was good
Absolutely. Guys, it's been a huge honor and privilege to have you here, David.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for your time and your effort to come all the way up here from Austin. Yesterday he was hobnobbing with all the politicians. Today he's here with us in the ETX ROCKS living room for the first time. It won't be the last.
I hope not. Please.
You're welcome back anytime.
I want to come back.
Ricky Lynn Gregg, he wants to do some picking with you, by the way. We're going to have to make that happen.
Let's do it. We're not far from each other.
That's right. Let's do it, Ricky. I'm going to call you. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Maybe Ricky Lynn Gregg show for David next.
Why not?
That would be cool, right, guys? I would be really interested to see some of the stuff Ricky would ask you. I really think that would be a lot
I hope
of fun.
that happens, really.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
And I'm glad to see he's feeling better, too.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. I think he'll be good.
I've been keeping up with him on Facebook.
Cool. And guys, if you're tuned into the ETX Rock Show for the first time, as always, we appreciate everybody out there that's listening or watching on YouTube. We definitely appreciate it. We are located on all social media at ETX Rocks. Follow or like wherever we are. If you're watching on high definition video over there on the YouTube, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. That's the best way to help us out here on the show, because every subscription we have raises us up in the algorithms and helps us with recommended videos and stuff like that. So every time we get a new sub, that means that it kind of changes those things. The more subs we have, the more we're featured in recommended videos. The more we're in recommended videos, the more artists like David and all the other amazing artists we've had on the show get more exposure. So make sure you're hitting that sub button. Super, super important to us here on the show. Also, we have an amazing website over there at www.etxrocks.show, which includes all 312 episodes that we've had on the show, over 500 guests on the show, and 12,000 hours of content, all right there at your fingertips. If you're a music fan and you haven't seen our website yet, what? Get over there, etxrocks.show. Check it out. And guys, as we've said for 312 episodes now, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX Rocks.
That's right.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow, of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks.